Hello, and thank you for watching. Our hope for this series, apart from our regular review videos, is to discuss health and wellness. In particular, our focus will be on cake, or calories and key expectations. We'll be visiting some personal history with weight loss and examining the nature of dieting. The 250-pound reference in the title then refers to my own prior weight. I'll too be reviewing my journey on losing over 75 pounds and how I've kept it off now for 5 years. We'll start by doing a series on each exercise, dining, snacking, and drinking. For the remainder of this video, I hope to discuss more of my own personal experience with weight loss. Just for a little bit of a background, I was 250 pounds for most of my teenage and adult life up until about 5 years ago. Part of the reason that I first started looking to lose weight was for my wedding. I always told myself as a teen and a young adult that I was going to need a reason to lose the weight, and if I met someone and I was going to be getting married and committing myself to them, that I would fully commit to losing weight. So I had that as my motivation. Part of the weight loss process, I would say, depends heavily on having a strong motivation. If you're not motivated to lose the weight, you'll more than likely to fall into some of the few pitfalls of weight loss, binge eating and relying on cheat days, that sort of thing. I hope to cover a little bit more of that coming up in the video, so stay tuned. Now, before we delve too far into my own story, I did want to take things back to when we were all kids, to the things that they don't teach you. Now, I don't think this was unique to my own situation growing up as a kid. I think we can all remember not having too much of a proper education when it came to things such as nutrition, fluids, sleep, play, and having goals. Now, I hope to spend a few minutes discussing each topic, so I thank you for watching and for your patience. Beginning as infants, as we transition from formula to solid foods, it's up to our parents to teach us first about nutrition. It's from them that we learn our eating habits, and it's through them that we develop our own diet. What I remember most as a child is a diet consisting mainly of delivery and frozen foods, and meals were eaten not at the dinner table, but in front of the television. This ultimately led to a checklist of bad habits I had to work back from in order to begin my weight loss journey. Most notable was the fact that I was not drinking enough water. I'd say I was only having 2 to 3 glasses a week. And as a child, most of my fluids came from drink pouches, Gatorade, soda, and let's face it, all that may as well just be candy. This would influence my preferences as a teen and young adult, and lead me towards preferring other soft drinks and sugary beverages, iced coffees and coladas and other, high calorie, high sugary drinks. Now instead, I'm certain to carry a sport bottle with me everywhere I go. Tend to fill that up with water as frequently as I can drink it. So I went from drinking probably, less than 6 ounces of plain water to over 60 ounces a day. And nearly just as important as getting enough water is getting enough sleep. Another thing I had trouble with as a teen was getting enough sleep. I spent many nights staying up far into the evening, playing video games and watching television instead of going to bed at a regularly scheduled hour. Not much my parents could do about that, I suppose, at a certain point in my life, but to that extent that they could have, they should have been maybe a little bit more forceful, because in addition to getting enough water, getting enough sleep leads to better mood, more energy, a lot of the things that lead to seeking out those sugary beverages and high calorie foods and other means of improving mood through eating. 2, learning how not to hit the snooze button also helped in improving mood, and with weight loss, getting plenty of sleep is important, but also not oversleeping is equally important. Being able to wake up at the same time every day, setting a routine, was something I had to work on most of all. Was not much of a morning person before. I was mostly a late night owl, but I was able to turn that around, not quickly, but in a timely manner, just using an alarm clock. I actually had to use 2 alarm clocks. I had one on my wrist watch and one on my bedside. I ended up adding a 3rd one on my cell phone at one point, but happy to report I was able to get rid of the bedside alarm and obviously just have my phone at my bedside anyway. So with those 2 alarms, I've managed to consistently wake up at the same time every day, and honestly, that and just getting plenty of water really made a difference in my life. I started to get up with the sun instead of afternoon, sometimes as late as 2 or 3 p.m. I would go to bed as late as 2 or 3 a.m., so I was getting well over 12 hours of sleep. Now I get 8 good hours. I go to bed probably 8:15, 8:30. I fall asleep, wake up around 5:15, so definitely try to get a good solid 8 hours as much as I can. And what I've since found very interesting is how even though I'm getting less hours of sleep, I am more rested, getting the 8 hours instead of 12, or sometimes I would sleep even 16 hours a day. Obviously there's something to be said about depression and potential other mental and physical issues with the kind of diet and lifestyle that I was living, part of which involved pretty heavy video game and computer use. Spent a lot of my time indoors, not going outside. I was always either in front of a computer or in front of the television. If I wasn't watching TV, I was playing a game. That definitely also had a factor in my weight gain, in addition to the diet and poor water intake, poor sleep, not getting enough exercise. Even now, I do still enjoy it as a hobby. I do watch plenty of TV. I do play video games now and then, but obviously now more in moderation, less than 2-3 hours a day, whereas I was playing probably 12 to 18 hours a day, with sometimes getting less sleep to binge watch a new show or play a video game from start to finish. Sad to say I didn't keep up with as many as my friends as I would have liked to. Less so because of the video games and more so because of the lack of energy and not having the proper diet or getting enough sleep. I often found myself, because of my weight and because of my lack of energy, just not having the drive to go out and try new things or to want to be seen with my friends. I would spend time with them in school, and I would talk to them online if they happened to be online, but if somebody invited me somewhere or there was some sort of group activity going on, I often chose to stay home instead, spend time in my room. That kind of isolation in turn would affect not only my mood but other aspects of my life. It would affect my sleep, it would affect my eating habits. Being depressed is definitely one of the leading factors to people binge eating and trying to fill certain voids that they feel that have in their life with things that make them happy, sweet treats, candy, cereal, ice cream, anything that they can get their hands on that will, elevate their mood. And, if there's certain other factors when it comes to, sugar and caffeine, and, you get those, rush of adrenaline or, endorphins that people experience, you basically get a food high. Some of this, of course, falls again back on my parents for not pushing me to go outdoors more. Obviously, I was a little combative the few times they probably did try. I can remember a couple of occasions that, my mom or dad tried to, take me bike riding, or, times that they would want to go to the movies, go to the mall, and I would refuse because that would, have a little anxious, having developed, a need to be home, be indoors, not go out. Definitely felt sorry for myself at times. That's part of, depression and mood. And part of that, just comes with that kind of lifestyle. When you rely on food and other, things to make you happy instead of going out and, finding things that can make you happy in a healthy and constructive way. That isn't to say too that, at certain points that my parents and, other family members also didn't experience those same, depression and, suffer from similar emotions. They too like to be in front of the TV, having dinner, watching a movie together, instead of going out, instead of going shopping, or to the park. Part of our family activity was, sit around the television and order a pizza. And, back then that was something that actually made us happy. We enjoyed ordering takeout. It was one of my favorite things coming home from school and hearing my dad say, hey, let's, order Chinese tonight. And then, the next day, hey, how about pizza? And, over the weekend, going out and getting breakfast, going to IHOP. That was sort of the stuff that I lived for, instead of, other activities now with, my family, with my wife, and hopefully with my son when he gets older. The kind of things that I'm looking forward to is going to the park, going on walks, taking the dog for a run. These are the sort of things now that I'm in shape and taking better care of myself, and I have the energy that I enjoy. And it wasn't an overnight process. It took a while to get there. I lost my weight over probably the course of 8 months, but now that I've done the work, now that I've seen what it took to get to this point and what I went through previously, I have a better understanding, but I also have a better appreciation for, what my parents tried to do. But, being a child and becoming a teenager, it's a lot harder for them to have as much control. And, part of what I experienced was my own fault. I could have done more. I could have tried harder from my end, but, it's never too late. So if you're watching this video, just know it isn't too late. If you're feeling the same kind of things that I've described feeling, you can make the same changes that I made, and just examining, what your motivation is, and going over what your diet looks like and your sleep schedule and the kind of activities that you do. You can build from that and work backwards once you've identified those bad habits to see how they started and hopefully reverse them. And at first it's going to look like climbing a mountain. Obviously it's a pretty insurmountable objective to try to completely change one's lifestyle. You have to do it from the ground up. You have to be dedicated to completely altering your personality, your motivations, and basically you're trying to become a different person. But in a lot of ways, you're not trying to become a different person, you're just trying to become a better version of you. And once you've set that goal, it's just about understanding what your limitations are and not succumbing to the typical pitfalls of dieting and weight loss. And hopefully with the rest of the videos in this series, I plan on having 4, one focused again each on exercise, dining, snacking and drinking, and showing you guys, easy ways to, slowly improve your exercise goals, ways to avoid, mistakes that you make when you're out to eat at a restaurant or, doing takeout, ways that you can do portion control when you're not the one preparing the meal. In addition, I'll try to cover a couple of recipes and things you can do at home for meal preparation. Personally, I didn't do a lot of meal preparation. I didn't do a lot of cheat days or cutting foods out of my diet. I pretty much just reduced portions, but I'll cover that more in depth in that video. As far as snacking goes, I actually snack a lot. I do smaller snacks over the course of 2-3 hours at a time. Healthy snacks, but I try to get my calories in over the course of the day instead of doing larger meals, try to keep my metabolism up. Again, I'll cover that in the snacking video. And as far as drinking, obviously, a lot of people can get a lot of calories through their beverages if they're not drinking only water. We'll go over the different drinks that are common mistakes for people, and hopefully we'll be able to set some goals so you guys can get started on your own weight loss journeys, and hopefully I'll be able to not teach you, but just offer my perspective. And to be honest, at first I never thought I would be at this point, even years later. Having lost the 75 pounds, I had only originally planned on losing 40, just trying to get healthier again for my wedding a couple of years back. But once I started seeing those changes in my body, not only just weight loss, but energy levels and, mood, I became more committed to my goals. And once I did, a little bit more research, and once I felt knowledgeable about myself and my motivations, I was able to begin to see those changes through to the end by just fully committing to the process, and in a way making it not so much about the weight loss or about the objective of losing the weight for the wedding, but just about improving myself for myself. And if you can just focus on some place in the future where looking back, the mistakes you made were because you were naive, or were just because you didn't have the energy to make the changes then, you can do more to make those changes now. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible ultimately for your own well-being. And ultimately, yes, your parents are supposed to help you, teach you. Teachers at school should be teaching nutrition. We should be not struggling as much as we do, a lot of us, with learning about this stuff for ourselves, or trying fad diets, or signing up for gym memberships that we never go to the gym, all in the hopes of trying to make ourselves feel better, trying to make ourselves look better. In the end of the day, it's not a vanity thing. It's a mental, and it's a physical change that you need to make for yourself not for anybody else. You know, it's not about what people see when they look at you. It's not about what you see when you look in the mirror. It's, you know, about how you feel. And you know, hopefully if you watch my videos and you get a sense from them, a way to, you know, improve your own well-being, then I'll have accomplished, you know, what I set out to do with my videos. And you know, I thank you for watching so far, and hopefully you'll stick around for the rest of the series. And you know, I look forward to hearing anyone's, you know, comments. So please, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you know, leave your comments, and I will try to, you know, respond to some of your feelings or some of your questions in the comments. And maybe once the series is done, you know, put together a couple of videos with people's questions and, you know, answer them, and you know, try to help out as many people as I can. You know, I've had a lot of people in my personal life ask me, you know, how I did it, how I made the change. That's one of the reasons that I was motivated to do this series, in addition to my, you know, restaurant reviews and, you know, other videos that I have planned for the channel. And you know, I'm doing it in this manner, you know, as a presentation to make it, you know, easily accessible. So hopefully, you know, I accomplish that goal, and you know, I look forward to continuing the series. Thank you, and again, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thank you, and have a good day.